What is going on, you guys? It's the Gemmy Fan here on Gemmy Master Animatronics. What we have here today to show you is the Gemmy animated female floating ghost. Now, this is the 2004 model, which, from what I heard, is slightly less common than the traditional 2005 models and up. I got this in a trade from Donovan. I traded him. She is very sensitive. Anyways, I traded it. It may seem a little unfair, but at the same time, you'll hear the second part and then you'll be like, oh, well, never mind. I traded him. I'll show you. I had a cat on top of a, what was it called? A pumpkin that had the traditional Gemmy soundtrack. I had this one, and I had the cat on top of the pumpkin. Now, he liked that one a lot because of the soundtrack it had. And if you don't know which one I'm talking about, just go to my Halloween 2017, 16, and maybe even 15, I don't know. But I actually showed that one several times. Of course, I had this one, but this one's just, the soundtrack is just kind of unappealing, to be honest with you. It's just a bunch of scary, random noises that aren't legible. Or, I mean, you can't understand them. But I traded him that. You know, you're saying, well, that's nothing compared to what the value of this thing. But when you hear the next part, you'll be like I said, it's, oh, well, never mind. Well, the thing is, Donovan had a Cauldron Witch, and he reviewed it a couple weeks back. It was like Gemmy Animated Cauldron Witch or whatever, and he showed it, you know, with the working head. It was the Lowe's 2008 model, and I actually reviewed it, and I'll show it up with I'll upload it with the improvements of it. Now, the board in her was starting to go out, and the problems were not necessarily unrecognizable, but at the same time, he purchased a board from a 2009 to 2010 Green Sock Witch, which had the same features minus the auxiliary and the mic mode, which aren't necessarily, he didn't even need those features anyway. So he said, I'll tell you what, if you successfully switch the boards out and service the mechanics in his Witch, which I had to do that, I put a new gear in the next way mechanism, I fixed the squeakiness of the side-to-side movement and everything, so she is 100% fully working condition. Cauldron works everything, and she doesn't short out unexpectedly. So for all that, he said, I'll tell you what, if you fix this Witch perfectly and trade me off that little small globe, he'll give me this. And he did, as promised. And I thank you very much for that, Donovan. I really appreciate that, because this is one that I've been wanting, and it pretty much closes off my wanting list for my collection of floating ghosts, which I will show momentarily all in one video at some point in time. Aside from, I'm not going to go on eBay and spend $90 to $100 on these things. I'm not that kind of person when it comes to collecting them. If I so happen to find one at a flea market on Craigslist or for less than $30 or $45, then yes, I will buy one. But you know, these female floaters go for quite a lot, and finding the first generation, yes, this is the first generation from Walmart. They sold for $14.88. It's about as cheap as you can find one at the time. And this is the 04 model, which, like I said, is a lot less common than the 05 and up models. Clarification comes from Jordan, you know, because he bought a whole bunch of these things. And the thing is, I don't remember ever seeing the 04 model, but then again, we didn't have a Super Walmart in 04. I saw the 05 model with the light green lime-colored box. Actually, it was exactly the same or similar to this one as the Swing and Skelly goes in. And that was the last I saw her. But having to, you know, see this one in person once again is a really cool feeling. And we'll go over the box real quick. It says, for ages 8 and up, floating ghost lights up, measures over 2 feet from hand to hand. If ghost attaches to black invisible pole, which hangs indoors or under your porch. It says, ghost hands are raised and lowered from the pole. Skull appears to be floating in midair. I mean, that goes for all the boxes, I guess. Motion and sound activated as ghost makes spooky sounds as visitors pass by. It says floating ghost. It does not say floating female ghost, because it's just it's a ghost in everyone else's eyes, minus collectors. There's a side speaker. Here is the back. And it's just a really cool thing. I never ever expected to get one with the box. You know, that's what I was trying to. My main goal was to try to acquire one of these with the box itself. And thanks to Donovan, I managed to finally obtain one of these to go in my collection. And this is really one of the last ones I actually wanted for my collection. Everything else is just if I happen to come across one, or yeah. Anyways, looking at the ghost herself, I know she interrupted the review earlier, but who cares? This is the first generation 04 model. Apparently, according to Jordan, it is a higher pitched model than the rest of them. But she did come with her fair amount of problems. Being, you know, almost new in the box does come with a fair amount of problems. Surprisingly, none of the gears had to be replaced yet inside of the mechanisms. I'm sure one day I'll have to go in there and perform that task. Strings aren't broken, everything's fine, and I was like, maybe this would be cool. But her sound didn't work. Now that's where it caught me. I was like, well, I've had this problem multiple times with several of my ghosts. My childhood floating ghost, the original Grim Reaper with the purple box, had a sound issue, but that was a connector piece, and it could either be one of three things. It could be the coin speaker, which goes out a lot, it could be the connector piece, or it could be something to do with the connections in the board and the sound chip. Now this one was the least expected. This was the sound chip. It had corrosion on one of the exact contact that led from the sound chip, so what I did is I cleaned all that off with a toothbrush and the right materials, and I had to just resolder that contact to make it fresh, and it works flawlessly. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better one of these ghosts, and I'm so glad to have it now. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. So enough of me talking. Let's play this thing. And she lights up great. None of the LEDs are burnt out or anything. So here we go. As you can see, she works great, and I personally really like the soundtrack in this item. It's really cool, honestly. And we'll turn the lights out just to get a better look at the illumination of this ghost. Play it one last time.